Mother love and Father wisdom call to me within. It is time, my child, for flying lessons to begin. Raise your mind and let us find a starting place to rise above. For in this moment you can sail alone. Let us stretch our wings and sail on love. Flying lessons are a pleasure. Won't you join with me? Mother love and Father wisdom are my company. Mother love and Father wisdom, show me how to soar to freedom. Deep within me, teach me how to fly. Deep within me, teach me how to fly. Love and wisdom call from within. Your flying lessons begin. Love and wisdom call from within. Your flying lessons begin. Mother love and Father wisdom call to me within. It is time, my child, for flying lessons to begin. Mount your wings on special things like love and peace and joy and power. For in this hour you will learn to fly. In this hour you will learn to fly. Fly high above your many cares and all your little fears. Flight will lift you far from sorrow, dry your many tears. Rise up on wings of love and fly into the skies with us. For in this moment you are free to fly. In this moment you are free to fly. Love and wisdom call from within. Your flying lessons begin. Love and wisdom call from within. Your flying lessons begin. Begin, my child, your flying lessons now.
We're having a flying lesson today. How many of you think you can fly? Believe you can fly. And what is the wind beneath your wings? One presence, one power. Thank you. So let's affirm that together. There is only one presence, one power, and one activity, God, the good, omnipotent. And the prayer for our church is always reminding ourselves of our mission to love the soul, light the mind, lift the heart, and heal the body. Let us say this prayer for our church together. Bless the work of our church, O Lord. Let our ideals be true. Let our efforts be helpful. Let our words be filled with healing. Let our attitude be joyful. Let the stranger find true welcome and remain as friend, for the Father draws his beloved to this place in his name. Let love and understanding among all people establish peace in our world. Father, Mother God, we thank you. Now I invite you to bring to mind one or two other people that you'd like to hold in prayer today. And as you do so, simply behold the Christ in them, that part of them that is the source of whatever it is they desire, that part of them that they can draw upon to create what they would like to create in their lives, a happy, healthy, in many different ways, and whole in many different ways, life. And so let us say this prayer for others together. As I behold the Christ in you, I see you happy, healthy, prosperous, loving, and beloved, going forth joyously to meet your good. And so we see them moving forward in their lives, claiming and embracing the good that lies before them in this moment. And as always, we give thanks for answered prayer. Amen. Now I invite you to join us in our hymn for today, which you'll find on that cream-colored insert on the back of the peace song. And today's hymn is,
Oh, fill me with thy presence, Lord. Oh, fill me with thy presence, Lord, that love may shine through me, to quicken that same presence, Lord, in all whose eyes can see. Oh, fill me with thy presence, Lord, that wisdom may be mine, to share thy light with all who need to let their own light shine. Oh, fill me with thy presence, Lord, to guide what power I wield, that it may ever strengthen good and be from ill a shield. Oh, fill me with thy presence, Lord, but need I longer wait? Thy presence has been given me to live and radiate.
all right. Awesome. So we have a lot of announcements because there's a lot going on. And the first thing I want to do is just thank everybody who was, let's see, what is today? Today's the 9th. Was last week the community meeting? My days are running together. Was last week the community meeting? Yes, it was, right? I wasn't here. On the first community meeting was 2 weeks ago? What's today? Today's the 9th. It was on the 4th, wasn't it on the 4th? The 1st. Anyway, thank you for everybody who was there. Thank you for everybody who was here yesterday. We have a new sound system. Thank you very much to Jerry and everybody in our media ministry for the training that they did yesterday to get us up and running. We're also going to be getting a new access point that has been ordered, and it will be installed in here, and it's just going to enhance everything that's going on around here, and hopefully also enhance what's happening for all of our virtual viewers, so that it's just going to make everything much easier in the long run. So we're very, very grateful. And also I want to thank everyone who was here for the iftar last night. It was lovely. Such a loving, welcoming, beautiful community. Just, you know, we have another family. We have this family of Unity Church of Christ, and of course we have our own individual families. And we have an interfaith family. And it is just so lovely to get together with our interfaith family whenever there's an interfaith event. And it was just beautiful last night. And so we're grateful to have been invited. We're very honored to have been represented, and it was just lovely. So I want to thank everyone who joined us for that and encourage you next year when the invitation comes to come on in and experience that, because it is quite an experience. Okay, The Christ with Dr. Stephanie Bush-Mann, coming up March 31st, and it's going to be every week for 5 weeks until April 28th. This is through Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, as we have mentioned, and you can, the link is in the blast to be able to go and sign up for, no, you're supposed to call Stephanie, that's right. You're supposed to email Stephanie. Stephanie's email address is in the blast and in the bulletin if you would like to be in the course. There is an $80 fee for the course, and Stephanie is graciously sharing half of that fee that anyone from Unity Church of Christ contributes with Unity Church of Christ. And then if you would like to take the course for credit, just in case you might want to do that, just in case somewhere along the line of your spiritual growth, you suddenly decide you'd like to become a licensed Unity teacher or an ordained Unity minister. You never know. Believe me, I know. Just in case, you don't want to have to go back and repeat that course. So you might as well take it for credit and pay the 45 credit fee that then that goes to Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute. So come on in. You don't have to take it for credit. It's a wonderful way, though, to learn about the Christ, what your view of the Christ is, how Unity sees the Christ, and open up your mind to what that might look like. We're going to be talking about the Christ next week, too, right here on the platform. So come on in and join Dr. Stephanie, our licensed Unity teacher, as she facilitates that class. Creating the Beloved Community. Again, thank you to everyone who came to that meeting and was able to attend. You still have an opportunity to jump in on this. This is going to be an awesome adventure. It is a 2-hour meeting once a month. And it's going to be diving into it's going to be helping us to dive into some more individual spiritual growth and unfoldment. It's going to help us be diving into what that looks like in our community, our Unity Church of Christ church family right now, its inner spiritual growth and development of which we are all a part, and what that might then look like as we all grow together and in the wider community and the world. So really, we have 29 members in this church. Right now we have, I think about 14 people signed up for the course. Come on. This is going to be wonderful. It's going to be a great experience. I have the recording, so if you decide that you still want to come in on it, give us a call, leave a message at the church, call during office hours, whatever. Let me know. Give me your email address so I can send you the recording and the materials from the first class or meeting. And then in a couple weeks here soon, actually probably next week or so, we're going to be getting more materials for the second meeting, which is on April 1st. So come on in, because, you don't want to decide later that when you start to see things happening that you wished you had come in. It builds on itself. So at some point, you're not going to be able to jump in and join. Do it now. Come on in and join us. This is going to be exciting, and it's going to be wonderful. I'm excited about it. Project Lotions and Potions. We are getting together with Death Emmanuel and St. Bartholomew's Episcopal Church at St. Bartholomew's Episcopal Church. This is where all of the packaging of these lotions and potions occurs. Another wonderful way to maybe build an interfaith relationship. So let's get involved. Let's sign up in the narthex to do that. It's going to be on April 2nd at 9:30 in the morning. That's a Wednesday, April 2nd, 9:30 a.m. at St. Bartholomew's Episcopal Church in Cherry Hill. Somehow, because we needed room, the address dropped off the inside of the bulletin. However, it is on the back where all of the other where the little calendar is that you like to take with you and stick on your fridge. It's on there, and we'll get it in there on the next bulletin, but you can Google it too, you can always look it up. So sign up in the narthex, let us know that you're going to be there. Foundations of Unity class for membership is going to be with Reverend Lori Petrosino. She is going to be facilitating that. You see the dates in here on it's going to be hybrid, so it's going to be in person and on Zoom. It's really nice to do it when you do it when you come in person, because you really get a feel of the fellowship of it. On Fellowship Sundays, it's going to be from 12:15 to 2:15 to give everybody time to fellowship first. On regular Sundays, in between when we don't have fellowship, it's going to be at 11:30 a.m. right after service, and that begins on April 6th. So take a look in there, sign up for the class. You can call the church to sign up and let us know if you would like to take it, or you can sign up in the narthex. If you want to know more about Unity, this is a great class to take, Foundations of Unity. You'll need a Lessons in Truth book by Emily Cady. You will need a Discover the Power Within You book by Eric Butterworth. We have both of them in the bookstore, or you can order them. And the syllabus will be forthcoming soon. And also, what was I going to say? Oh, so if you want to know more about Unity, or if you want to become a member, you'll need to take the class for credit, which just means that you have to do all the homework and that Lori gives and hand it in. And it's not like overwhelming kind of homework like you think about when you were like in high school or something. It's different. And once you do that, then we will have a membership Sunday in June to welcome new members into the church. Morma's Book Club continues on Monday, April 7th with the next Power in April, which is going to be John the Power, who represents our Faculty of Love. Groundskeeping in service. We needed to move this from the first Saturday in April. For personal reasons, our ministry head cannot be here that day. So we're moving it to April 12th. So come on in and help us clean up the yard and start weeding these gardens and getting them ready for summer. And then, of course, we're already in Lent. We had our Lenten service, and we're already moving into Lent. And so Good Friday and all of the other things that come along with that, Palm Sunday, Easter, will be coming up. You can read that for yourself. That's not on top of us yet. Okay, I think that's everything. So I'm going to ask Joan, our daily word reader, to come on up and read to us from a daily word that is pertinent to today's flying lesson.
Today's daily word is judgment, which comes from Friday, March 7th, 1930. And our affirmation is, the perfect judgment of spirit manifests through me as power to judge all things wisely and well. You can find this affirmation on the inside cover of your bulletin. Let's affirm it together. The perfect judgment of spirit manifests through me as power to judge all things wisely and well. The power to judge belongs to spiritual consciousness. In spirit, it is the power to select the good and the true. Without the exercise of judgment, man would live in a dual world, one in which the false and the true were on equal footing. In absolute truth, there are no opposites, no good and bad, no false and true. In the absolute power, there is only God with his manifestations. Until we arrive at this consciousness, we need to deal with the belief in opposites and consequently must exercise judgment. We are not called upon to pass judgment upon other persons or their affairs. Their own judgment is sufficient for such demands as are made upon us. Judgment must be kept impersonal if it is to be of any value to us, since personal judgment is always biased, prejudiced, and inclined to be intolerant. Wisdom is closely allied to judgment. Wisdom discloses the relation of all manifestation to truth and spirit. Judgment gives us the ability to choose that which belongs to the spirit, to the world of spirit. Through spiritual unity, we appropriate that which we select through good judgment. Our Bible verse is from Zechariah chapter 8, verse 16. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And our affirmation is, the perfect judgment of spirit manifests through me as power to judge all things wisely and well.
So our meditation is going to be at the end today, but let's just think about what this daily word really is saying to us. We have an innate power of judgment that we use every day. And I wonder how often we misuse it. We do use it, as the daily word said, to discern the false from the true in this little r reality that we live in. And yet there's a bigger reality, isn't there? So when we're using it in this little r reality, where is it centered? Most of the time, I think it's centered in personality. My personality, based on my life and my experiences, often without taking into consideration anyone else's. And when I say my, I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about all of us. Rather than becoming centered in our individuality, as an individual expression of God making righteous judgment, we get stuck in the biased, critical, and condemning judgment of personality, and we all do it. And when we do, our personality is out of balance with our divinity. I think judgment is also a faculty that's misunderstood. It is closely related to wisdom, and yet we don't get to wisdom. We don't get to wisdom without using right judgment. And not just right judgment, but balancing it with love. That's how we get to wisdom, is right balance and love, right judgment and love. So in its spiritual context, the word judgment is capitalized to symbolize its use as righteous judgment, meaning that we use it in right relation to the omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence within us, in right relation to the oneness that is our connection with one another and all that is. Now, all these O words, omnipresence, omniscience, omnipotence, oneness, contain a great deal of power. It's no accident that an O is a round circle with no beginning or end, being both Alpha and Omega, being one. So really think about what it means to use our power of judgment in right relation to the omnipresence, omniscience, omnipotence within us, in relation to the oneness that is our connection with one another and all that is, in right relation to God within. So our reading today is from the book of John, and it's a little later in Jesus' ministry, and his brothers, he did have brothers, were trying to talk him into going to what is called the Festival of Booths, or the Feast of the Tabernacles. And it was a time, this festival is a time when Jews left their homes to live in temporary shelters called booths, or tabernacles, to remember the Israelites' time in the desert after leaving Egypt. And some Jewish traditions still practice this today. Now, Jesus' brothers did not believe in him. Remember, he used to talk about you can't be a prophet in your own home. Doesn't work. They didn't believe in him, and they were trying to get him to go to the festival to prove himself to them and those who were there, and in their minds, including the disciples, because they actually said that to him, who apparently then must have been already there, and we know that they already believed. So Jesus told his brothers, "Go to the festival yourselves. I'm not yet going to this festival, for my time has not yet fully come. And after saying this, he remained in Galilee. Now, Galilee represents soul energy and power. That soul energy and power that is where? It's not out here, is it? It's in here. So Jesus stayed there in Galilee, and his brothers went without him. And after staying in Galilee for a short time, Jesus changed his mind. He made a new judgment that he would go to the festival in secret by himself. And this is where we're going to pick it up in John chapter 7, verses 10 through, let's see. Yes, through 10. I have 10/14 question mark. I wasn't sure where I was going to start. So it's 10 through 24. But after his brothers had gone to the festival, then he also went, not publicly, but as it were in secret. The Jews were looking for him at the festival, saying, "Where is he?" And there was considerable complaining about him among the crowds. While some were saying he is a good man, others were saying, "No, he is deceiving the crowd." Yet no one would speak openly about him for fear of the Jews. About the middle of the festival, Jesus went up into the temple and began to teach. The Jews were astonished at it, saying, "How does this man have such learning when he has never been taught?" Then Jesus answered them, "My teaching is not mine, but his who sent me. Anyone who resolves to do the will of God will know whether the teaching is from God or whether I am speaking on my own. Those who speak on their own seek their own glory, but the one who seeks the glory of him who sent him is true, and there is nothing false in him. Did not Moses give you the law? Yet none of you keeps the law. Why are you looking for an opportunity to kill me?" The crowd answered, "You have a demon. Who's trying to kill you?" Jesus answered them, "I performed one work, and all of you are astonished. Moses gave you circumcision. It is, of course, not from Moses, but from the patriarchs, and you circumcise a man on the Sabbath. If a man receives circumcision on the Sabbath in order that the law of Moses may not be broken, are you angry with me because I healed a man's whole body on the Sabbath? Do not judge by appearances, but judge with righteous judgment." So let's talk first about Jesus not immediately going to the festival. It seems like his brothers might have been goading him. Yeah? Anybody have brothers and sisters? They might have been goading him to go to this festival to teach and do some of his works because they needed to see to believe, or whatever it was going to take. Now, I am the oldest of 5. I could see myself getting upset with my brothers, judging them for judging me, and becoming indignant. In that mindset, the use of my judgment faculty is compromised. A decision to go might be from an "I'll show you" attitude, and not really in an attitude of spirit, and probably wouldn't go so well. A decision not to go might be the result of sulking, and also not have good consequences because it wouldn't be upholding the mission. But Jesus doesn't judge them for this. Instead, he says, "You go. It's not my time." Maybe he meant it wasn't the right time to make that decision, so he took a pause. He waited in Galilee, in his soul energy and power. Maybe he thought about it, pondered it from a higher mind, likely in prayer and meditation, and then made a judgment that it was time for him to go. But not because of his brothers, but because it was time. So Jesus goes in secret, quietly observing all that was going on and listening to all that was being said, especially about him, because there was a lot of that happening. And then he decides to go to the temple and teach. When he is questioned about this, he says, "My teaching is not mine, but his who sent me. Anyone who resolves to do the will of God will know whether the teaching is from God or whether I am speaking on my own." And what faculty of power within us helps us to know that? Judgment. Judgment. And it could be right judgment if it's aligned with the divine will within us. If we are resolving to do the will of God, we will know. Otherwise, we would not be able to discern if the teaching is from God or from human personality. We'd probably just react from human personality. So already, we're using our power of judgment. We use it all the time. And then he gives us a clue as to how we can discern rightly. He says, those who speak on their own seek their own glory. But the one who seeks the glory of him who sent him is true, and there is nothing unjust in him. Who is the one who was sent? We are. We are the ones who are sent, just like he was. The one who seeks the glory of something higher than himself, that within him something that is higher is true, then there's nothing unjust in him. Even when we stumble, if that's what we're seeking, there's nothing unjust in us. And if there is nothing unjust, then there can be nothing unjust in our judgment, because it is centered to the best of our ability in truth. Then Jesus goes on to talk about the law. And this law is twofold. It's the law of Moses and the law that Jesus taught of love and justice. Now remember, people were angry with him because he was healing on the Sabbath. Did you get that in there? So he says, Moses gave you the law, yet none of you keeps the law. He knew that there were hypocrites there. Why are you looking for an opportunity to kill me? Now, he knew this because he had already been secretly walking around the festival listening to them. But of course, they denied it. You're crazy. Who's trying to kill you? Ever done that? Oh, no, you're crazy. That's not what I meant. That's not what I said. And Jesus responds, I performed one work and all of you are astonished. Moses gave you circumcision and you circumcise a man on the Sabbath. If a man receives circumcision on the Sabbath in order not to break the law of Moses, why are you angry with me because I healed a man's whole body on the Sabbath? So he's basically accusing them of hypocrisy. Following the letter of the law and not the spirit, right? Then he sums it up. Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. Do not judge to condemn, but judge in alignment with the will of God in you. Do not judge by the letter of the law of Moses, but judge by the spirit of the law of God. Now, let's understand that there is nothing wrong with the law of Moses. We need that law. You know, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not kill. The law of Moses guides us in the development and evolution of our 12 powers. We see the Bible as the evolution of human consciousness, and the law of Moses helps us to be able to do that so that we can reach Christ consciousness. So circumcision represents the purification and cleaning process involved in cutting off the mortal propensities that would prevent us from developing spiritually. You understand that? In Romans 2:29, Paul reiterates this idea as he tells us that circumcision is a matter of the heart by spirit, not the written code. In contrast to the law of Moses, the law given by Jesus, and it's not really in contrast. I shouldn't even say that. The law given by Jesus is the law of love. When Jesus was asked by the Pharisees which commandment in the law is the greatest, trying to trick him, what did he say? Love. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment, and a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law. Every other commandment, if you're doing those two things, will just automatically happen because it will just be. If you love God and you see that God in other people and you love them, you're not going to steal from them. You're not going to lie to them. You're not going to kill them. You're not going to do any of those other things. So this law sums up all the rest from a higher state of consciousness. So you see the evolution? We have to have those laws first to learn not to do those things so that in our minds we can understand how to judge rightly so we can move on into the higher consciousness of what that means. And Jesus also said, I've not come to abolish the law of Moses. I've come to fulfill it by love. Love, however, must be balanced with right judgment in order for the law to be fulfilled. When we use our judgment faculty correctly, aligned with our other faculties, because they got to all work together, but we got to start with one at a time and sort of start to learn how to understand how they work together. So when we use it correctly, aligned with our other faculties, then we're going to judge with righteous judgment. And there's nothing unjust in it. In his book, Christian Healing, our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, writes that as God is love, so God is justice. These qualities are in divine mind in unity, but are made manifest in man's consciousness too often in diversity. It is through the Christ mind in the heart that they are unified. When justice and love meet at the heart center, there is balance, poise, and righteousness. When judgment is divorced from love and works from the head alone, there goes the human cry for justice. When judgment is divorced from love, we crash because we can't fly. There will be no justice in the world until we learn to fly, until we learn to judge rightly with love, creating that wisdom. Divine justice is begotten of divine wisdom, which is the balance of right judgment and love working together. So to not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment, represents a very high understanding of what true judgment with a capital J is. Righteous is defined as a state of harmony established in consciousness through the right use of our God-given attributes, of which, of course, judgment is one. In unity, it's James of Zebedee that we see as the disciple that represents our faculty or power of judgment. Now, the name James means supplanter, to supersede or replace. And that makes sense, because it's our faculty of judgment that we use to discern, to distinguish, to evaluate and determine. And if we're using it rightly, we'll sift through our thoughts and ideas to separate the good from the error. We will discern the real from the unreal, the true from the false. And in the judgment process, we will let go of one thought or idea and supplant it with another. That's what that whole process is doing. So when Jesus told us we were not to judge by appearances, he knew that to rely only on the evidence of our senses and not going in here, aligning ourselves with divine will, that we would get misleading conclusions. Judging from appearance alone, our conclusions are often biased and prejudiced, filled with criticism and condemnation. So judgment then can be exercised from two ways, from sense consciousness or spiritual understanding. The law of Moses supports us in rising to a point in the evolution of our consciousness where we must supplant living by the letter of the law with living by the Spirit. It's just part of that evolution process. The law of right judgment works by love to create true justice. And isn't it interesting that James' brother, who we're going to celebrate next month, John represents the faculty of love. And they spent their lives together, working together, before and after they chose to follow the teachings of Jesus. That's how it is. Our faculties either work together in spirit, or they rub up against each other and clash when we're out of alignment with the higher will within us. Jesus nicknamed James and John, those two brothers, sons of thunder, because they could become overzealous and often had reactive tempers. Anybody relate to that? I need to see every head going like this. I got one over here that's going, no. When we're centered in spirit, we are poised, calm, and collected. If we're not, then there's some kind of clashing of faculties going on inside of us. And often it's with our faculties of judgment and love. They're probably out of balance. And when we don't judge rightly because we're out of balance and not centered, it often creates chaos, injustice, and undesirable conditions in our lives. Sounds like we might need some flying lessons. How often have we judged from personal consciousness with condemnation, not considering another's motives or circumstances, not even, we think we know them, and we don't. We don't. And then, how often has that happened that we find out that we had judged unjustly because we found out something that was going on with them, or something we didn't know about them? We see faults in others and we judge with bias or prejudice without getting the mote out of our own eye. We even decide upon a punishment. Do that in your mind, not even knowing in truth whether they're guilty or not. And is it really ours to know anyway? Or is it theirs? Again, in Christian Healing, Charles Fillmore. This is a great book, by the way. He may be guilty or not guilty. Decision as to his guilt or innocence rests in the divine law, and we have no right to pass judgment. In our ignorance, we are creating thought forces that will react upon us. With what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. This is still Fillmore quoting Jesus. With what measure you meet, it will be measured unto you. Whatever thought you send out will come back to you. This is an acknowledgement. This is an unchangeable law of thought action. A man may be just in all his dealings, yet if he condemns others for their injustice, that thought action will bring him into unjust conditions. So it's not safe to judge except in the capital A, absolute. Jesus admonished us to judge with righteous judgment. He taught that we are to judge rightly from within and only for ourselves. Our judgment is not to be used for judging or condemning others. Yes, we use it in judgment, in good judgment, to decide whether or not we want to be in relationship with that person because perhaps we don't. That's not condemning them. That's just deciding for ourselves that I cannot be with you. I cannot be around. You've got to really look at this in depth to get the full meaning of it. We have to always take into consideration that there are factors that we don't know of where others are concerned. I don't know their journey. I can only judge what is right for me and never what is right for someone else. That would also prohibit me from condemning anyone for the choices they make for themselves, even when I disagree. In my research on truthunity.net, I came across a 1971 Unity Correspondence School lesson. And question 3 of the lesson was on what is justice? What is the sure way to establish justice in one's affairs? And in the notes under this question is this note. Justice is often represented by the figure of a blindfolded woman holding in her hand a balance scale. It thus suggests that justice is impersonal and impartial. May we not say that it also suggests that the eyes must be turned inward, where true spiritual principles are at work and not outward toward appearances. True spiritual principles express impartially. Again, Fillmore in Christian Healing. Observing the conditions that exist in the world, the just man would have them righted according to what he perceives to be the equitable law. Unless such a one has spiritual understanding, he is very likely to bring upon himself, and I love this, physical disabilities in his efforts to reform men. If his feelings come to a point of righteous indignation and he boils with anger over the evils of the world, he will cook the corpuscles of his blood. Of his blood. Okay, judgment and love, sons of thunder, going on inside of us, cooking us from the inside out. Then, he said, to its equity, man should commit the justice that he wishes to see brought into human affairs. Sounds a lot like be the change you wish to see, doesn't it? Also sounds like he's saying, we need more flying lessons, which we get as we turn within. So let's prepare to do that now. Let's just set everything aside. If you're comfortable doing so, close your eyes so that you can, just like the Lady Justice, change your sight from outer to inner. And just begin to notice your breath. Feel it moving in and out of your nostrils or your mouth. Notice how it fills your lungs and your belly. Feel it lifting and opening your heart. And to the best of your ability, begin to relax your body and your mind. There are times in life when it's a challenge to keep my thoughts and emotions in check. A challenge to use the powers within me rightly. Perhaps something happened that caused me to feel hurt or confused, at a loss for words, not knowing what to do or where to turn. At these times, I can make a conscious choice not to get stuck in my pain, nor allow it to cloud my judgment. Instead, I take a deep breath. I sit in the soul energy and power of the Spirit within me and claim that power as my power to judge wisely. I breathe into my heart and ask, what would love do? I have the innate power to judge with right judgment when I'm centered in the power of love. I know innately within me that judgment and love must work together. for my higher good and for the good of those around me. When my judgment is clouded, I become still and let love lead me to truth. When I perceive what seems to be an injustice, I turn within. So that I may work through anger, resentment, and indignation and come out on the other side. Centered in the power of my divinity, I let love lead the way to what might be mine to do. If I feel overwhelmed by life, by the world around me, love will lead the way to understanding and peace of mind. Where the world and other people are concerned, there are things I can control and things I cannot. It's my power of judgment that will help me discern. And centered in love, it will lead me to right action, or perhaps even to no action. It might not be time. And so I open my mind and my heart to the soul energy and power within me. I align my will with the divine will within. Knowing that as I do, I will judge with righteous judgment. And move closer in the way and the nature of my true nature as a Christ of God. And for this truth, I am grateful. Amen.
Whenever I have hurt in my heart, I ask, what would love do? Whenever I don't know where to turn, I ask, what would love do? When I don't know what to say, I ask, what would love do? What would love do? Anytime that I am stuck in my pain, I ask, what would love do? Anytime I feel ashamed, I ask, what would love do? Anytime I can't find my truth, I ask, what would love do? What would love do? Love has all the answers. Love makes no demands. Love will lead me to the truth and help me to understand that life is all about love. When I have something hard I need to say, I ask, what would love do? When it seems another block is in my way, I ask, what would love do? When it seems I can't face another day, I ask, what would love do? What would love do? Love has all the answers. Love makes no demands. Love will lead me to the truth and help me to understand that life is all about love. In any situation, I ask, what would love do? When I feel limitation, I ask, what would love do? When it look into my soul, I ask, look, what would love do? Look into my heart and ask, what would love do? What would love do? What would love do? What would love do?
Remember that time, I don't know, a lot of years ago, so maybe I shouldn't say it out loud. My age is none of my business. There was that fad of WWJD. What would Jesus do? Well, we could very well say WWLD. Same thing. So this week, as you're experiencing your life and watching what is going on in the world, question where your judgment is centered. Is it balanced with love? Perhaps you might find that it's time to turn within for some flying lessons to the wisdom that will lead you to deeper awareness and whatever it might be that is yours to do without false judgment, without resulting in the condemnation of others. Our own judgments and corresponding actions will be the true judge in the end. And what is true for one is true for all. And it all begins in here. So let your flying lessons begin so that you may align yourself with the higher will of your divinity and have a blessed week. Oh, real quick here, since we're coming into affirmation of abundance, and this slipped down to the bottom where I couldn't see it. We have created a QR code. Woohoo, for Unity Church of Christ, coming into the, what is this, the 21st century still? Have we not moved out of this yet? Okay. So, so you can use these while you're in here, and then we'll recycle them. If you want to take them with you, you can. You can use them wherever you are, at whatever event you're at. And if you're not, if you already have one or whatever, just put them back in the basket with the rest of the recycling. And Yay for us. You're going to start to see these around. Eventually, we'll get to getting them around in other places. So anyway, just wanted to point that out as I invite you to join me in the affirmation of abundance that is in your bulletin. We know that as we give, we receive, and so we take this time to practice generosity of spirit. And we do that joyfully, willingly, lovingly, and cheerfully as we say this affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. And I am divine love, blessing and multiplying all the ways I give and all the ways I receive. And now let us repeat this affirmation as one, together. Divine love through us blesses and multiplies all that we give and all that we receive. And we affirm that we are divine love, working together to bless and multiply all the ways in which we give and all the ways in which we receive. And for the swift manifestation of these truths, we are grateful. Amen. And now, we are having our board installation, which I neglected to say earlier was happening today. In the book, Dynamics for Living, by Charles Fillmore, of course, he states, if you want to do the works of God, you must follow the Christ. In Ephesians 4, verses 1 through 3, the Apostle Paul writes, I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beg you to lead a life worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, making every effort to maintain the unity of spirit in the bond of peace. Board service is a calling. Sometimes we don't know that it's a calling until someone asks us. After much prayerful and careful consideration, it's extended in the form of an opportunity by invitation of spirit. So even though that invitation may come from someone here, it's in here that you're going to hear whether that invitation is for you. This is where you need to go. And that invitation of spirit working in and through us is to participate in the mission of God for the ministry of Unity Church of Christ, that mission being to love the soul, light the mind, lift the heart, and heal the body. And that mission supports our vision to be one of the greatest life-transforming family churches in the world. Now, the first thing that I'd like to say to our new board is thank you. Thank you for answering the call. And now I'm going to invite each board member to come up one at a time, and so when you hear your name, please come forward and light your candle from the Christ candle. So, yeah, thank you, Missy. Missy's going to make that possible for you, or easier, and she's going to do it gracefully. Yes. When you light your candle from the Christ candle, this is a symbol of your willingness to open your mind and heart to the light of God that shines from within you in support of the vision and mission of Unity Church of Christ. Our new members are Edie Musa, member at large. We actually have a member at large this year. You might need to protect that with your hand. There you go. Come on up, Edie. And you can just move right down here so everyone else can come up next to you. Our new board secretary, who is being represented by proxy, is Mary Pat Carrero. Mary Pat is with us virtually, and she has her Christ candle from Christmas that she is lighting right now. And she will be participating from home. Our new board treasurer is Victor Daniel. Did you get a short wick, Vic? There it goes. And our new board president is Stephanie Bushman. Yay. Our board of directors is a dynamic group of people who have agreed to represent you, all of you, the congregation of Unity Church of Christ. And they've agreed to hold the high watch through prayer and meditation, and by working to raise their own individual consciousness. And they have agreed to manage the finances of our church. To be a board member means being committed and dedicated, filled with generosity of spirit, and to fearlessly give of yourself and your resources to build this spiritual community. These who stand before you have selflessly answered the call of Spirit to serve this community. So now, I will ask you to answer the call and the following questions with the words, I am. Mary Pat also. Are you ready to lovingly serve God by demonstrating through thought, word, and action the positive, constructive, spiritual way of life as exemplified by Jesus Christ and embraced by the Unity movement?
I am.
Are you ready to dedicate yourselves to promoting the welfare and growth of this church and of the entire Unity movement, and to look always to the Christ within for wisdom, guidance, and inspiration?
I am.
Are you prepared to discharge the duties and responsibilities of a board member of Unity Church of Christ in support of our vision and mission and set forth in the bylaws and policies?
I am.
Please repeat after me. I lovingly dedicate and consecrate myself
I lovingly dedicate and consecrate myself
to the will and work of the Christ within,
to the will and work of the Christ within,
by supporting the minister and community members
by supporting the minister and community members,
with my prayers, encouragement, and fellowship,
with my prayers, encouragement, and fellowship,
and with honest, loving responses
and with honest, loving responses
to their words and actions.
to their words and actions,
By committing myself to work with the minister
by committing myself to work with the minister
in building harmonious leadership
in building harmonious leadership
and in honoring each member of this spiritual community.
and in honoring each member of the spiritual community,
And through my consciousness and conscious actions,
and through my consciousness and conscious actions,
to support the spiritual and financial welfare of this church.
to support the spiritual and financial welfare of this church.
Unity Minister Reverend Charlene Manuel wrote a book about the board-church relationship entitled The Power of One Accord. In it, she states, we harness a great strength when we collectively center ourselves in God, Christ, Spirit, truth. When a board comes together in prayer and operates with one accord, Spirit has a willing and powerful vessel to use to fulfill the mission of the ministry. In Matthew 18, verses 19 to 20, we read, Again I say to you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father, which is in heaven. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Because the board claims the guidance of Spirit and uses faith as their driving force, the praise for success goes to Spirit. Take these words to heart as you move through the next year, knowing that the Spirit of God is at work to support the vision and mission of Unity Church of Christ through its members and through you, their representatives, together with the minister and the power of one accord. And now it's my great pleasure to install you as board members of Unity Church of Christ, and to charge you with the responsibility of serving this church with love, faith, and joy. And we're going to end with prayer, and then we're going to do the prayer for protection for our board. So we're going to do it a little different. It's going to be you, okay? So right now, let us pray. As we turn within to the truth of our being, we recognize that we are all here by divine appointment. We commit ourselves to the inspiration and guidance of the Christ within. We remain open and receptive to the fulfillment of the divine plan through the vision and mission of Unity Church of Christ and the Unity movement as a whole, both here and throughout the world. And for the honor and privilege of being a part of and supporting this wonderful, powerful, joyful movement of spirit, we are grateful. Amen. Peace song and prayer for protection.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Please join us in the prayer for protection for our new board of directors. The light of God surrounds you. You are light. The love of God enfolds us. You are love. The power of God protects us. You are power. The presence of God watches over us. You are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and where God is, all is well. And I see you this week walking with righteous judgment and love, all of us, in our divinity, aligned with the divine will within, in all that we think, say, and do. Amen. Amen. Carefully.
Mother love and Father wisdom call to me within. It is time, my child, for flying lessons to begin. Raise your mind and let us find a starting place to rise above. Let us stretch our wings and sail on love. Let us stretch our wings and sail on love. Flying lessons are a pleasure. Won't you join with me? Mother love and Father wisdom are my company. Mother love and Father wisdom show me how to soar to freedom. Deep within me, teach me how to fly. Deep within me, teach me how to fly. Love and wisdom call from within. Your flying lessons begin. Ooh, Mother love and Father wisdom call to me within. It is time, my child, for flying lessons to begin. Mount your wings on special things like love and peace and joy and power, for in this hour you are free to fly. In this hour you are free to fly. Fly high above your many cares and all your little fears. Flight will lift you far from sorrow, dry your many tears. Rise up on your wings of love and fly into the skies with us. For in this moment you are free to fly. In this moment you are free to fly high. Love and wisdom call from within. Your flying lessons begin. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Begin, my child, your flying lessons.